Well, welcome everybody to the latest in the Innovators Series, and today we have the great privilege of having with us none other than Robyn Williams, who is a true icon in the performing arts and the general venue management industry, I should add. Robyn, we're delighted to have you with us today. Loving to look at some of the questions that we're going to get your insights on. But before we jump into that, would you mind just giving the viewers a quick intro and background on yourself?
Okay. Well, as you said, I'm Robyn Williams, Executive Director for Portland 5 Centers for the Arts in Portland, Oregon. I have been on the venue management side of things for about 40 years. If I go back to my early stagehand days when I started out as a stagehand working at the Lubbock Memorial Coliseum. I have a
At six
degree.
years old, right?
I wish.
Yeah.
I wish. Um, yeah, so started out doing stagehand work because I had a background in technical theater. I have a good degree in technical theater with an emphasis in stage lighting and scenic art. And working as a stagehand was what got me my foot in the door. I started heading up the production for the Lubbock Memorial Civic Center in Lubbock, Texas, who also ran the auditorium and coliseum there. And kind of worked my way up through the organization, was there for like 10 years, and when I left, I was an assistant director and moved to Houston, where I ran the theater district facilities in Houston, Texas, and then from there to Charlotte, North Carolina, and then finally here in Portland, where I've been for the past almost 23 years. So that's my trajectory.
Wow. And along the way, you lost that Texas accent.
I'm originally a Midwesterner, and but if I get
Ah,
around a bunch of Texans, it all comes out.
that's great. Thanks, Robyn. Um, Over the past decade, what would you say from a technology perspective has had the most impact on the way that performing arts centers and theaters do business now?
Oh my gosh, we're so heavy into technology anymore, and when I was thinking about this question, it was real easy to kind of go super sophisticated, but really, when you boil it down, I would have to say our smartphones are it. I mean, because we can do absolutely everything on them anymore. It's our office, so we can travel. I can be down on the floor in the theater and access all my files. Our tech people are able to check into our event software, for example, and go, oh, what does the setup look like? My custodians all carry smartphones because you don't have this need to run back to the office for information or carry around a clipboard, a paper. You have a small device that you can just put in your pocket and keep going. And I think that's been the biggest change ever. Maybe right behind it would be the iPads because now we're focusing lights and we're running sound boards and all with iPads, but we're also doing the same things on our phones. So that has to be, I would say, probably the single most impactful thing to us.
Yeah, probably on humanity in general over the past decade too, right? It's just, yeah, smartphones have sort of gone everywhere in every part of life. So it's hard to imagine how we did things, like you say, with the lighting and that, how they did that before there was iPads and everything else now. Crazy.
Well, I
Um,
remember traveling when I was traveling, like early in my career, like going to IVM meetings or something. And the way I would get information is there would be a fax waiting for me at the hotel when I arrived. And now I'm on the
right.
plane getting information. It's a very different world.
It sure is. It sure is. So with that in mind, what do you think are the greatest challenges that theatres and the teams working in theatres now face with technology?
Absolutely money. I mean, the thing about technology is it ages out really, really fast. it's amazing how fast things become obsolete. And a case in point is, we're having to replace a large sound console that we replaced not that long ago in my head, but we
Hmm.
can't get parts for it anymore because they don't make them.
Wow.
And so that's a huge financial impact. And I think many performing arts centers, we don't have big sports teams and TV deals. So money's very precious to us, and just trying to have enough capital funds to stay, just to keep your current technology working, and the constant upgrades is a huge challenge for us.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense, especially given the funding models that performing arts centres and that operate on, where most of it's a not-for-profit world, right? So it's tough. Um, what do you think is going to have the biggest impact on performing arts centres from a technology standpoint over the next few years?
I think it's going to be AI.
Yeah.
And part of that I say with a little bit of trepidation because I don't think we know what that means to us yet. But I'm concerned about what it may be doing artistically to folks. We already have the ability to write and compose things through AI. My latest security equipment works off AI. So I just don't, I think we're just now starting to put our feet in the water in terms of what AI is and what it can do. And I think that's going to have a huge impact on Art Center. I'm not sure that I can tell you what that impact's going to be, but I can tell you I'm watching it really, really closely because it's just so unknown. But it's like this giant torpedo being launched straight at us, in my opinion. And so we'll see. But I think that's where the next big one's going to come from.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with you. It's exciting and frightening all at the same time because there is so much unknown to it. It's mind-boggling actually. Hey, to finish up, Robyn, and this is a non-technical question. What words of advice would you have for somebody that's starting out a career at working in theatres?
I would say work outside your area of expertise, or try to. We many of us get into our venues because there's of some skill. For me, it was my technical theater background, but if you can find opportunities to broaden that background, it makes you so much more marketable. For example, I was a production person, but I would help the director of operations with electrical projects because I had a basic knowledge of electricity. And so hanging out with him, my next career jump was to being the new operations and engineering superintendent. And suddenly I'm having to learn custodial and I'm having to learn HVAC. And so I think if you can look for opportunities to get involved in other areas, um, you'll just be. I think my strength as an executive director is because I've had my fingers in so many different departments over my career. So that would be my recommendation for anybody coming in is don't necessarily just go, oh, I only know production, so I can never leave production. Figure out how you can learn a little bit about the custodial side of things, and how do how what's an air handler and how does that work, and you'll be a better facility manager, and it really will open doors for your career, I think.
I think that's great advice, and I really hope the people watching this who are interested in a career in theatre take that advice on board because there's no one better to get that from than you, as I say, a true industry icon within not only the performing arts world but the venue world in general, and of course who has the best hair in all of the venue management areas. So Robyn, thank you so much for your time today. Great insights. I'm sure everybody will get lots from that. and look forward to catching up with you again at some stage at another event around the traps. Thank you again.
Thanks, Steve. It's been my pleasure.